Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's session live at the Waterholes. It's Wednesday the 30th of July, it's 12:30 and my name is Kelly and I'm going to be with you for the next couple of hours, making our way in a gentle fashion around some of these fabulous cameras that we have. Starting off here at Oldonyo, up in Kenya, with our usual gathering of these magnificent male elephants. I was looking at the giraffe when I said that, and some giraffe making their way in to see if they can maybe get a look in here. Remember, we are live and interactive. The most important part of the show, in my opinion, is hearing from everyone that is watching or listening. Get involved. Oh, look how even that bull's tusks are, the one that's facing us now. Looks like they've been measured and designed with a set square or something. Super even. So yes, please do get involved. We look forward to hearing from everyone. Send your questions through to wildearth.tv/questions, or you can scan the QR code there on the right of your screens. We will get through as many of your questions and comments as we can. You're welcome to join on X using the hashtag WildEarth. So if you get in touch regularly or you never have before, today's your time to send through your questions and comments via WhatsApp on +27 786 302 336. I've noticed there is one normally smaller male that has a head standing in the middle of this pan. I'm sure his reasons are known to him. Double P, good day to you too. Thank you very much for being here and getting involved. Joanne Mello, happy Wednesday to you as well. Is it Wednesday? It is Wednesday. I said it was Wednesday earlier. Good day to you, Joanne Mello. You can see these giraffe like, am I thirsty enough to try and get in here? Maybe. Let's watch. This boy looks like he's going to give it a try. Risky activity when it comes to getting in there with those elephants. It just takes the flick of a head or a trunk. There was, of course, that famous incident where a giraffe did not come out of this in a good way. Let's head across to Camelthorne. We'll try and keep an eye on see if these giraffes do get a look in. We will head over to Camelthorne and maybe come back to Oldonyo in Kenya in a little while. Mr. Elemental, good afternoon to you. Thank you for joining. You're joining us from Perth, Western Australia. Thank you for getting involved. Here we are at Camelthorne in Botswana with our vast biomass of hippos that we often see here at Camelthorne. I've been really enjoying seeing there's a couple of little hippos in this group, and it's been an absolute pleasure watching them out of the water. There's something very endearing about a baby hippo. I mean, all baby animals, really, let's be honest. keep trying to take a mental note of these water levels here. So there is an inlet, but the more animals that come, the quicker those water levels are going to drop. Gabs, you're asking, can rhino or elephant dung be used as a domestic fertiliser? Oh, brilliant question. I would guess so. At the end of the day, it's all vegetation. I'm not sure. I'm just trying to think of the different digestive systems. I would imagine those two types of dung would have a slightly similar nutritional content. Maybe white rhino dung might be slightly higher because they've been feeding on grass instead of the cambium and stuff that elephants sometimes feed on from trees. But yeah, I don't see why not.
For years, we've shared virtual wildlife. Now, let's experience it for real. I'm Lauren Arthur, and I'd love to show you my amazing home here in the Greater Kruger of South Africa. This 5-night journey is an exclusive connection to my piece of untamed Africa. I live here in these gorgeous landscapes surrounded by epic wildlife. The wild is calling, so come and join me.
My name is Takudzwa Panda Msesani. My scariest moment is when it happened twice. The other time I was with Cedric and the other time I was with Steve. And all those times, it was a black mamba. My favorite meal in camp is gonna be burger and chips.
Which was awesome. That's where I've been, Sandy Franklin 69. Jamal, if hippo's skin is pink, does that mean it has sun damage? You often see them going pinker if they're out the sun, if they're out the water and they're in the sun. But if you look at them in the water, that skin is not pink, so it's more about temporary coloration of the skin. It's not. It probably would be if they stayed out of the skin too long, but it's actually a solution that sort of helps protect them from the sun. But if they stayed out the water too long, they would end up with some sun damage. Hayden, funny you should mention that. You have heard of lion dung being used to scare cats and dogs out of English gardens. Funny you should mention that. The day before yesterday, I was in a lion sighting with my friends from England. Lovely lion sighting, actually. And the lion had a poop. And I said to them, there you go. You can take that back to England and use that to keep the cats off the garden. I would assume it would work, possibly. I think you can buy it, but I suppose it would be an ingrained. I can't imagine an English tabby ever having experienced a lion, but we do know there is a huge genetic predisposition for many things in animals. I'm pretty sure they would know it was another animal, whether or not they'd sort of go, oh, that's lion poop, I'm leaving. I'm not sure. I haven't actually seen any studies on, I'm sure there have been studies done. Actually, I'm going to set that as homework. I'd like to see a scientific study of the effectiveness of that, because I mentioned it 2 days ago, but then I sort of said, oh, I don't know if it works. But maybe I should find out if it works. Done for cats. Hayden, I'm going to investigate further, because I've also heard that, but I can't tell you whether or not it's correct. EJ, you're saying collecting elephant and rhino manure could be hazardous to your health. It definitely could. It most definitely could. You'd have to do it very carefully. And also remember, even things as seemingly banal as dung, it shouldn't really come out of its locations. Poop has stuff in it that belongs in the bush, that belongs in nature. And I was joking when I told my friend to grab some fresh lion poo and bring it back to England. Do not ever do that. That's a bad thing. But even something as seemingly literally waste as dung should probably be left where it falls. I actually remember very, very early on in my career being taught why we shouldn't drive over elephant or rhino or any dung, or anything actually for that matter, not plants, not flowers, not insects, not poop, because that dung has lots of life in it, dung beetles and loads of other bugs and stuff, and you should always drive around poop. So if you were to collect any of that, you would be collecting away all the stuff that's living in it. Melanistic marble, the hippos are indeed basking again. Apparently it got down to 0 briefly here where I am in the Lowveld last night, which is insane. So maybe those temperatures in Botswana have dropped a little bit as well. I'm not totally sure. But I am not currently sitting in the sun. And I wish I was today. So maybe they are indeed trying to increase that body temperature a little bit today. Melanistic marble. Chip Pop, thank you so much for sending your question in. Your name is fabulous. Please send lots more questions in, because every time I read it, it's going to make me smile. Chip Pop. Oh, hello Zebs, coming for a drink. You're asking, do hippos only defecate while in the water? No, they will poop frequently and anywhere. Often along... Oh look, there's kudu there as well. Huh, I feel like this might be the first time I've seen kudu here. Look at that, also at the inlet. No, they will poop out of the water as well, Chip Pop. Often along those hippo pathways. Hippos, when they exit the water and go out to feed, I won't say at night because it's not always at night, they create very clear hippo pathways. They're almost, you can see where like both left side and right side feet, and sometimes there's a little sort of central reservation in the middle. Oh, that's a young kudu there. And you often find hippo poop along those hippo highways where they're making their way out and back from feeding. I was going to say that almost looks like a family unit there on the right with those kudu. This is a mostly adult, but not a huge bull here. He's got his horns, but I think he's probably still got quite a bit of filling out to do. This male and some females and quite a small kudu there. We don't often see small or super small antelope. Many antelope will practice I think one term is a laying up period. When they're young, mums will leave them. They will know to stay put in a bush, out of sight. And we will only start seeing them when they're a little bit more mobile. Let's go across to Nkoro. I haven't had a look at that camera for a while. Let's have a look and see what's happening over at Nkoro. Oh, nice little gathering here. And there's more kudu. Interesting that we've seen. Is that an elephant in the background? And we've seen two sort of. You see this male in this shot is actually much more mature than the other one. His horns are gathering twists, for want of a better word. And when he lifts his head up, you will see that super thick, super heavy neck. I'm sure this boy is probably in his prime, in his reproductive peak. Santa Franklin 69. It's going to be It's going to be 90 degrees there in Tennessee today. Today is pretty cool. But to be honest, I'm okay with it. I'm really enjoying the winter temperatures at the moment. Soon enough, it will be racing up into the 30s again here. So, mid 30s. I think 37. I'm still fine. But when you start going over 38, so what is that? I need to convert that. Let me convert your 90 degrees. I'm not very good at these conversions. So 32. 32 is still fine. Yeah, I can cope with 32. But I think my top end now that I'm okay with is 98, 99 degrees Fahrenheit, and then past that, it's getting a little bit warm. Charlie, excellent question. Thank you very much for sending it through, Charlie. Do some animals with mating seasons ever mate out of season? That's a really interesting question. I don't like answering things one way or the other. I'm just rolling that around in my head, Charlie. Every fibre of my being wants to say no, because often mating seasons occur. They are triggered by environmental factors. Not be with condition, and females might not be receptive, which would floor well, it wouldn't flaw the plan of mating. I just saw that warthog there. It wouldn't flaw the plan of mating. There could still be mating going on, but it would mean that the production of offspring probably wouldn't work. But I hate saying something like no to a question, because we'll see mating in pilas in a minute, knowing my luck. It's not impossible, Charlie, but it also depends on how defined and rigid that mating period is. There we go. Didn't answer that at all, did I?
This unfolds in front of you.
Even a hyena coming into the action as well now. Oh my word! She's stalking the hyena now. Leopard, hyena, lion, all together in one shot. Oh. Woo! This is action-packed.
My name is Takudzwa Panda Msesani. I really want to film an art fork, and it has been my goal. I'll be just keeping my eyes open. The worst driver is Jem. He's driving, yeah. You gotta be holding on back in there, yeah? Like in bumps, and I mean, it happens when these things happens when you're actually going for animals usually. But then, yeah, he's driving, yo. You gotta put your seatbelt.
Out here, every wild moment matters, and as a Wild Earth explorer, you won't miss a thing. Watch the Wild Earth channel, ad-free 24/7, where you can even rewind and watch something again. Get access to behind-the-scenes videos, fireside chats, and access to early travel offers. It is the best way to stay connected and be part of the Wild Earth family.
While I think, I'm going to throw that one open to the room. You tell me which animal's name best reflects its personality or attributes. Brilliant question from Ivan, but I'd like you all to send your thoughts in. Please send it through to wildearth.tv/questions. Which bush animal's name best reflects its personality or attributes? Tell us now using X with the hashtag WildEarth. I'm thinking hard. I would love to hear what everyone else thinks. So send your thoughts through on WhatsApp +27786 302 336. Which bush animal's name best reflects its personality or attributes? Excellent question, Ivan. Thank you very much for participating. I'm looking at pictures of things now to try and give me some inspiration. You see, that's really difficult, because when I say the word monkey, you think, oh, cheeky monkey, and you go, oh yeah, monkeys are cheeky monkeys, but we've put that together in the first place. We've gone from watching monkeys' behaviour and then winding it backwards to being cheeky. It's not, we haven't named it for its cheekiness. It's like, oh, that's a bit philosophical. Orange. Do we call an orange because of the colour, or? So, I'm not going to go down that route. But something like a cheeky monkey, that's been conditioned for us to think that, I think. Let me have a look at some names of animals and see if I get any inspiration. See how those that kudu there is feeding on that. It looks like an old termite mound to me. So very old, not active, but it looks like a bump that was maybe once a termite mound. We were talking about using elephant or rhino poo as a fertiliser. Termite mounds also hold nutrients, and as a result of them holding nutrients, there's another one back there, another sort of raised termite mound, but we often see animals feeding around these raised areas because there is indeed an increased number of nutrients in those termite mounds, so they produce yummier stuff. People often ask what came first, the termite mound or the tree. I can almost I've planted I've been trying to put indigenous things in my garden. I planted a speckbum, and I've got a tiny little bird bath, and the termites have decided that this is a good place. And in the space of a week, this speckbum has been engulfed in termite mound. These zebras are on their way for the afternoon by the looks of it, so let's head back across to Aldonio. Let's see if our giraffes ever manage to get a little drink in there. Nice to see those kudu feeding on that termite mound there. Ah, there we go, the giraffes did get in there, yay! Raw, you're saying the only thing you can think of is a warthog. That was the first thing that sprang to my mind, is a warthog. Hog, pig, it's a pig. He's got a bumpy face, warts. That was the first thing that sprang to my mind, Raw, was a warthog. And EJ, you're saying porcupine because it's pork with spines. Sorry if there are any vegetarians listening. That was not meant to be offensive. Trixie Rose, you're saying a kudu because if you hit one with your vehicle it goes kudu. And I know another kudu-based, sound-based name suggestion, but I'm not going to be able to discuss it here. But I know another suggestion of how a kudu got its name. Sand Franklin 69. Can I talk about starting a bird list? I can absolutely talk about starting a bird list. Where do you start when identifying them? Sandy Franklin 69. It took me a while to get into birding. I found them frustrating. I'm not the most patient person on earth. And my argument was always, if I look at something and don't know what it is, then I don't know what it is. Even more so with calls. And I actually... There's a little giraffe there. We don't normally see young ones here. And I actually really only started getting into birding when I had to start taking birding tests for my qualifications. So I had to be honest. But I did used to find it frustrating. And I was never quite sure, like, okay, if it's got 2 yellow feathers or 1 yellow feather, it's a whatever. I'm not patient. but I had to learn because it was part of my qualifications. So the way I did it was I went on a bird app and I took loads of screenshots and I put them, I tried multiple different ways of doing it. Different computer software, I tried flashcards. There was another app I found. Oh, look, everyone's sharing nicely, look. Oh, it's so nice. Wow, everyone's so relaxed here today. It's lovely. And I repeated them. I went through them again and again and again. I downloaded bird calls and I put them on a flash drive and played them in my car. I would sit, when I was sitting somewhere, I'd just listen to bird calls. I practiced Sound for 69 and I practiced really hard. I had a friend visit recently. She's not been into birds, she's done many, many safaris. And I sat her on my sofa outside and I gave her a pair of binoculars and a little starter bird book. I said, right, bird. And there's a few birds we see here and I said that as a bird. And she said, I don't know what it is. And I said, well, go for the book. And it was an easy bird book. There were sort of only about 150 birds in this small bird book. Common birds, relatively easily identifiable birds, so none of these loads of testiculars or anything. And she went, well, I don't know. I said, well, try harder. And she looked at the bird, right, black head, yellow beak, whatever, and she just sat and flicked through the book. That's how I started Sound for 69. The problem does come when you get relatively competent. You can normally work out if you see something. After a while, you go, oh, that looks like that looks like a canary or something, and then you go to your app or your book. You look at the canaries, and then you look for key identifying features. You look at the book and go, okay, one's got a black eye stripe, one's got a yellow eye stripe, one's got red feet or whatever it is, and then you look at the bird in front of you, and that's how you do the sights. Sometimes it still ends up being ambiguous, which I find very frustrating. Calls, I find I'm actually better at identifying birds with calls than I am with sight now. But my argument was always, if something's going cheep, 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 and I don't know what it is, then how do I find out what it is? You can't listen to 900 bird calls. Go with a friend. Go with a better bird than you and practice. So Sandy Franklin 69, yes, I can very much talk about starting a bird list. Start by getting used to, do you think it's a duck, or do you think it's an eagle, or do you think it's a little tiny perching bird or something? Start with just getting a feel for what sort of family that bird might be in and take it from there. Wow, there's loads of questions today and loads of people I don't recognise. DJ Milks _CPT. That's catchy. You're asking, how do zebra interact with other species in their habitat? We have gone over to Tau. I think we were having a few problems with that Ordonio camera. We are indeed here at Tau, where we have been watching courty crocodiles for a while, which is super exciting. DJ Milks, Cape Town, I assume. How does zebra interact with other species in their habitat? It depends. It depends on the species. It depends on what's happening. I very rarely see zebra actually interacting much with other species. I'm just trying to think of animals that I've seen chasing each other around, but they pretty much keep themselves to themselves. If you will sometimes see zebra with wildebeest, which is mostly compatible despite the fact they're both grazers. They eat different parts of the grass. That is a straight heron. Come on, at least show me your face.
My name is Amy, and today we're going to be doing things a little bit differently.
At Wild Earth, we believe every story has the power to create change. That's why we've launched the Wild Earth Impact Foundation, a non-profit dedicated to conservation and social impact. By showcasing conservation stories, we can change lives, protect nature, and empower communities. We have partnered with Empowers Africa to accept tax-deductible donations from US donors. Your donation will help fund critical programs that support our mission. Join us and be part of the change.
My full name is Maxine Gaines. Most people that know me really well call me Max. I'm a mum. I have two boys. One is 16 years old and one is 14 years old. I'm a very, very proud mama of my two boys. I've just always been passionate about leopards. I'm passionate about their conservation. I'm just passionate about everything to do with leopards. I love them.
Welcome to Safari Spotlight. We'll be
And you pretend like you're a salesman, eh?
Got no idea what's going on this reserve.
Expecting the unexpected.
Are we stuck down there?
What am I trying to do?
So we have another giant of Mabula.
That was incredible.
This is unbelievable.
It's going to be a spectacular afternoon.
Safari, wine, and waterfalls. The ultimate African adventure. Sip South Africa's finest wines. Experience a world-class safari among Africa's iconic wildlife. And stand in front of Victoria Falls, one of the natural wonders of the world. All this can be yours with Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
I have seen a little bitten at Tau before. It's not a breeding male. Juvenile, according to this, has got a yellow beak and a yellow eye. But look at that, there's very clear spots on those wings. And then what you do when you're birding is you take pictures of things and you send them to better birders than you. I still want to say it's a greenbacked heron, but the best bit is when you have to try and bird in public with loads of people listening. Sandy Franklin 69, that's always an absolute blast. But we can do it together. Greenbacked heron. I want to check this distribution. Chip pop. Yeah, I was also swaying between black-crowned night heron. I'm just checking this greenbacked heron's distributions. I don't have a black-crowned night heron on my list, but you're right. It does look quite spotty. Okay, I've just thrown it open to the better birders, and they are indeed confirming. They have been through this before, and they managed to establish that it was indeed a juvenile black-crowned night heron. Well done, Chip Pop, and well done, team. But yeah, it's similar to the juvenile striated heron, but the distribution's wrong. So a juvenile black-crowned night heron. That's literally how you get started with birding, Sandy Franklin 69. Jasper, you're asking, do I also enjoy birding in the UK? What are some cool birds that side? I don't really know. I haven't been spent any time in England any length of time in England for many, many years. And I enjoy looking. And I know a robin and a few others, but to be honest, my birding repertoire in England is not brilliant. But it is amazing, actually, if you look. There is some fabulous birding to be had in the UK. Especially, but water birds, seabirds, you get lots of estuary birds, but they can be difficult. Birding in England, but I'm not very good at it. Sue Van, thank you, Sue Van. You are 100% correct. I didn't think of that. You do indeed get a lesser kudu. I've never seen a lesser kudu. But you might well be right, that maybe that... Where do we see it? Which camera was that kudu family on? Wasn't that in Bots? Was that at Camelthorne? If that kudu I was saying wasn't mature, was indeed up in Kenya or Tanzania, that may well have been a lesser kudu. You are completely right, Sue Van, but I think it was at the Camelthorne camera. FC, can you confirm that first kudu family that was at an inlet, was that at the Camelthorne camera, which is Botswana, or was it on one of the Kenyan Tanzanian cameras? I can't remember. But that's a really valid point, Sivan. I do know there are lesser kudus. I've never actually seen one, but well done. I will definitely keep that in mind when we're seeing those kudus now, and check those distributions. Thank you for coming back to that, Rian Cortez. Grey go-away bird describes it well. That is indeed a very good definition. That call is very much... Go away. Jaslyn. Hi, Jaslyn. Thank you very much for being here and getting involved. Does the fur colour of some animals fade as they grow older? I'm thinking. Not really. I'm thinking about old lions, I'm thinking about old leopards, maybe a tiny bit. But they never really... It might fade, but like they wouldn't... I'll show exactly what's happening in my brain then, Jaslyn. I was thinking black dogs go grey. But lions and leopards, I'm trying to think... There's not really any black naturally occurring I don't think so. It might, like a lion's mane, a black mane lion might sort of fade, but I would think that was probably due to losing condition and the fur not being as healthy, as opposed to it actually changing colour. I think I'm sticking with that, Jaslyn. And I'm trying to think of older kudus and things. No, I think coats might go duller, but I don't think they change colour per se. Little cheeky little elephant bull coming in for a drink. Looks like he's going to cause some trouble. Raw, you're saying every time you visit your mum in the UK, you're dismayed at how few garden birds she has. When you grew up there were many more. I tell you what I notice, Raw, the difference now when I go back to England is lots of insects. When I was a kid and we used to do long drives, there was screens and windscreens and stuff would be a shame. I feel sorry for them, covered in dead insects. But I saw a ridiculous statistic a while ago, and I'm not even going to try and quote it in case it was wrong, but it was an insane drop in numbers of insects in the UK in recent years. I'm gonna check that properly before I say anything, because if the statistic is what I think it was, it absolutely blew my mind. So let me check it. Yeah, that is crazy. I'm glad. That's the number I saw. Yeah, that's the image I saw. Produced by if anyone wants to look at Kent Wildlife Trust.org. The number of insects sampled on vehicle number plates decreased by 78%. In the UK between 2004 and 2023. 78%. That is ridiculous. That is insane. And Raw, that's possibly why there's also been, and loss of habitat, there's such a massive reduction in bird numbers. 78%. That absolutely broke my heart when I read that. Melanistic marble, puffins. Oh, I'd love to see a puffin. I've never seen a puffin. They are indeed easy to identify. And you have a little egret in your garden in London occasionally. Melanistic marble, if you're getting egrets in your garden in London, then thank you for obviously doing the right things to encourage these birds to your garden. People, and this goes for anyone watching or listening. You know, we see all these amazing cameras and these elephants and all these, cool things in Africa. Nature is everywhere. Even if you've just got a window box, even if you haven't even got a window box, clip a window box outside your window, and even just plant a few flowers in that. Have a bit of soil, plant a couple of flowers, and that is also nature. And if everyone did that and did whatever it is Melanistic marble has done to encourage egrets to gardens in London, it would have such a huge impact on conservation. It would make such a difference. So it doesn't all have to be, and nor should it be, all elephants and rhinos and these vast, gigantic open spaces packed full of a million different creatures. It all makes a difference, and everyone can do their bit for conservation. So thank you, Melanistic Marble, for doing whatever it is you do to attract egrets to your garden in London. Ross, you are asking, are there any birds that are no longer migrating? I can't give you a specific species off the top of my head, but I do know, even since I've been in South Africa, there are now birds that sometimes maintain resident populations when the rest of them migrate. So, yes, because I've had I'm trying to think of a species off the top of my head. But when I've seen a bird, I'm going, oh, it's weird, what's that doing here? And if you investigate further, you are starting to find that some residents, a few residents sometimes remain. So I think migratory routes are indeed changing, Ross, if that's what you were getting at. Spas, you're also trying to encourage birds to the garden and attract insects with flowers. Brilliant. If every single person that was able to just planted just one plant pot with a couple of, I don't know, whatever, and ideally endemic plants so that are native to whatever area you're in, it would have such a worldwide impact on diversity, improving insect numbers.
I met this remarkable rhino bull, whose name is Samson, last year in a place of extraordinary beauty, history and story. I'm going back there to see him in October, and I think you should come with me to his mysterious mountain fastness.
What does it take to handle the wild? Balance. Determination. Focus.
Yaku!
And gear that can take a beating so you don't have to.
Full name is Maxine Gaines. Best part of the job, gosh, I just love everything about guiding. I love being able to observe animal behavior and animals behaving naturally. So for me, that's by far the best part of the job. And so what we do here at Wild Earth is develop those connections with the people that are viewing, and maybe just light a little spark that says, you know what, I want to be involved in protecting this ecosystem.
If you love watching Wild Earth, here's a little tip. Become a member. You can gain access to the channel ad-free, you can rewind and re-watch sightings, and you can join our Tuesday live safaris. There's also behind the scenes videos, fireside chats, and every safari live episode, whenever you want it. It's just a better way to stay connected to nature.
Duncan, you're asking, what's the longest period an elephant can stay without water? Hi Duncan, thanks for getting involved in the show. It's hugely appreciated. It depends, really. Elephants are water dependent, but it's going to depend on how big the elephant is, how much moisture they're getting from what they're feeding on, how hot it is, how active they are, but probably not more than... The trouble is you say it and then someone comes back with a story and says, oh, there was an elephant recorded that didn't drink water for 11 days or something. Let's say if it's 5 days, just for argument's sake. But if it's the middle of winter and there's no water-rich or moisture-rich vegetation around and it's 45 degrees and it's a year old, it's going to be significantly, well, maybe not a year because it's still suckling. Or if it's sick, or if it's elderly, or they're having to do long treks. But somewhere around there, Duncan, but they are quite water dependent. Elephants can, depending on where they can adapt to lower water requirements. So a desert elephant might be able to go, or a desert adapted elephant might be able to go a bit longer than a forest elephant, for example. But yeah, loads of variations there, Duncan. Sorry about that. I would love to one day be able to, excuse me, to be able to answer a question and just say yes or no, or 25 kilograms. But nature does give us so many variables. When I started studying behaviour, I really, my intention, my honest intention when I started studying was to get answers to why animals did things, and I got none. It turns out everything is just completely variable. So that was frustrating. But that's why I like nature, and that's why I think it's good to always keep thinking beyond one's knowledge. And as I always say, when I spend a couple of hours doing this, how boring would it be if I just gave the trouble is now anyone can find anything out using resources. There are so many resources at our fingertips now, and let's be honest, you've all got similar information to me, and just like Sue did, people regularly update me or correct me, which is brilliant. I have absolutely no issues with that. I did know there was a lesser kudu as well as a greater kudu, but to be honest, I'd forgotten. I've never seen one. They are not in my standard area of operation, and I'm learning lots with all these new cameras that are up in Kenya, Tanzania. I've never been to Kenya or Tanzania. So lots of you that have been watching the cameras longer than me or have been doing safaris up in East Africa, I'm more than happy to take things under correction. How dull would it be if we weren't learning all the time? Wildlife Lady, late good afternoon. Where have you been, Wildlife Lady? Gorgeous scenes here at It's very, very peaceful today. Did that just catch a fish? There's an egret and a spoonbill. Look at those. Oh, that's cool. Look at both those different hunting techniques. Huh. That's so cool. Look at these two birds. Almost identical size, identical shape. All that differs is their bill. I'm glad I wasn't that heron or that egret then. I had no idea that crocodile was there. It is too. But how interesting was that, watching that egret and that spoonbill hunt side by side? Same place, same body shape, different bill, completely different behaviours. I think this might be our crocodile couple. And look, there's also two other birds here side by side. So it looks on the left, I think that's a red-knobbed coot with that, which I think is silly because it actually looks more white. And I think we've got a common moorhen. Red-knobbed coot has just walked off and his face looked white. And the common moorhen with the red face on the other side. Also stood right next to each other, but this is brilliant. See that scoop on the end of that spoonbill's beak? But look how they're... I wonder if these crocodiles moving around in the shallows have stirred up some stuff. Paul, you're asking which bird behaviour have I spent the most time studying? Oh, there's so many. I think maybe... I've probably spent, honestly, most time watching vultures, because I've spent quite a lot of time at carcasses, with the view often to watch predators there, but as a result spent time watching vultures. They're awesome to watch. Weavers, I've spent quite a lot of time watching weavers because they often make their nests over water, and if we're sat with guests watching a waterhole, then there's often weavers there. So I would say, Paul, probably weavers or vultures. Mickey, you're asking, are the elephants scared of crocodiles? No, not really. A crocodile could grab a trunk, maybe, and possibly if there was very young elephants and a big crocodile, adult elephants might sort of go, no, come away. But I wouldn't say they're scared, no. An elephant would squish a crocodile. Quick, a crocodile might get a bite in, but an elephant could pick up a crocodile. An adult elephant would be not really scared of crocodiles, I don't think. Possibly mildly respectful, maybe not respectful. Mildly aware of, but I don't think scared, Nikki. Tony from Watford in England, be grateful that you don't know everything. Think how bored you'd be with nothing left to learn. Right, Tony? I can't think of anything worse. And I think it's well, it's not just in our industry, it's life in general, I think. I've been a bit philosophical today. But when you stop, especially in this industry, and you can tell people that have been doing or watching this or working in this industry for a very long time, they can get to a certain point and go, okay, right, I know enough now. How could you ever think that? I just don't understand how you could not want to keep digging. And it's one of the reasons I studied behaviour. I found myself getting increasingly interested in behaviour and interpreting and trying to understand the reasoning and the physiological aspects of behaviour. And yeah, you're completely right, Tony. I would, even if just not in this industry, just in life in general, how boring would that be? Karen, why is everyone late today? What's everyone been doing on a Wednesday? But I'll let you off, Karen. Thank you very much for joining in Australia there. Good evening to you too. Good afternoon, good evening. It is 13:36 here in sunny South Africa. Thank you for joining, Karen. Mr. Elemental, you love crocs. These crocodiles have been definitely... Sorry, there's a little plane going over. Apologies for that. Sorry about that, there was a little relatively low plane going past. I'm still doing these from outside, it's fabulous. I'm going to do it for as long as I can until it gets too hot again. What an awesome place to sit outside. I get to watch animals and watch animals. Mr. Elemental, you love the crocs. We've definitely been seeing some... that bird's nice and in the open now. I'm glad that between us we've worked out that I don't think I've ever... Have I got a black crowned night heron on my list? I haven't got a black crowned night heron on my life list. I've only had my life list for sort of like 3 years, 3.5 years. Have I? No, I don't have a black crowned night heron on my bird list, but I don't think I can class this, unfortunately. My woeful bird list. But yeah, Mr. Elemental, we're getting some great interactions with these crocodiles lately, and I think we're going to have more to come. Look at that. Who invented that beak? Look at that insane beak on that spoonbill. Dark Main Lover, you are asking, are birds relatives to the ancient dinosaurs? They are. Are descendants of. They are descendants of dinosaurs. Interesting that you've asked whether or not, while we're looking at this scene, whether or not birds are just descendants of dinosaurs. Those crocodiles are... those Komodo dragons are always reminiscent of dinosaurs to me. Or at least that period. So birds are sort of direct descendants. Crocodiles, not so much. More like second cousins, maybe. This spoonbill's brave. Ooh. Ooh. Karen, do I ever see flamingos? No, I do not ever see flamingos. I have seen before in Namibia. but not regularly. There have been recorded sightings of flamingos in Madikwe, I believe. Not commonly. I think sometimes they're a little bit lost. I don't think I've got flamingo on my bird list though. Let me check. See, I've got my bird list in front of me. Today, after my little foray into the black-crowned night heron juvenile.
My name is Amy, and today we're going to be doing things a little bit differently.
The Wild Earth Impact Foundation is a non-profit that uses the power of wildlife storytelling as a force for good. We create sustainable development projects that showcase conservation stories, empower people, and inspire environmental action. As a registered South African PBO, you can make a tax-deductible donation to the Wild Earth Impact Foundation. To find out more, visit our website.
Would you like to know what an elephant's favorite food is? You could ask me questions like that in real time. Our safaris are live and interactive from the heart of Africa. Over here. Watch Safari Live and connect with nature.
They listened to me and packed big coats at the last minute. And that afternoon drive was one of their girls didn't bring their coat out there in a hoodie. They were shivering. The temperature drops surprisingly and quickly, and no one can ever quite imagine. I'm sure anyone that's listening or watching that watches the live drive sees how snuggled and bundled up everyone is. So yeah, fortunately they threw big coats in at the last minute. But I did say, look, I'm really sorry it's so cold. But it's such a good time of year to come, in my opinion, because it's dry, the bush is nice and open. You get lots of animals gathering around water points, whereas in the summer months, people often ask what's the best time of year to come. Every time of year has its benefits. But I've been really enjoying the winter this year. So, yeah, really, really nice time of year to come. Lots of activity, these zebras here. Across at Nkoro Bush Lodge. Antoinette, you're asking what happened to the matriarch of the elephants if she's too old to lead the herd? She will. Someone else will take over. Ah, hello, Warties. I still haven't given you what animal I think is most like its name. I'll come to it. Someone else will take over. Antoinette, the next wisest, not necessarily oldest, but often oldest because with time comes wisdom. The next female in line, either a sister or a cousin or someone else will take over. And are there any other animals that have a matriarch? Yeah. Hyenas, spotted hyenas have a sort of a matriarchal system. So it will be sort of a head female as opposed to a head male. I'm trying to think who else. I think hyenas and elephants are probably two of the best known to have this matriarchal system. And to a certain extent, it's not known for it, but there will not often be a sort of, if you've got a big pride of lions, there'll normally be an oldest, wisest female lion, but that's not really classified as a matriarchal system as such. Sandy Frankly 69, why doesn't the crocodile eat the birds? Sometimes they do, but not very often. Birds are not easy to catch, but no, sometimes they do. That's why I'm often curious as to why birds are prepared to get as close as they do to crocodiles. Birds have excellent eyesight, and I'm pretty sure they can see there's crocodile there, but they are choosing to feed very close by, so nature has obviously determined that they are, if they are finding food there, the benefit of finding the food or obtaining the food is more beneficial than not going near the crocodile, I guess. But crocodiles will sometimes catch birds. That zebra looks quite... Okay, let me decide on which animal lives up to its name best.
Step into the heart of Africa from the comfort of your home.
Female leopard tracks over here.
Join our expert guides for a live 3-hour safari where every moment is real, unscripted, and unforgettable. Ask questions.
Animals rely on their senses.
Share your thoughts and be part of the experience as we explore together. Safari Live.
Like, why? Why would some animals have a matriarchal system and not others? Or more, what are the benefits to a matriarchal system? Because as I often say, nature does what works. I was actually reading an article earlier about how tusks, or how elephant tusks have been impacted by poaching in different areas, and how there was lots of numbers, but how basically more tuskless elephants were seen depending on how heavily poached an area was, but now they are starting to record that areas that have been well protected, they're starting to see a decrease in number of tuskless elephants. Amazing how nature, and that's sort of relatively quick adaptations. We're not talking millions of years here. But the way science is evolving so incredibly quickly boggles the mind. Karen, you're asking, do zebras mate for life? Or what animals do? Not really. As far as I know, the social system of zebras is, it'll be sort of one stallion, his mares and their offspring. That's a sort of family unit. He will mate with all of the mares will often stay with him. If something happened to him, they would happily accept another stallion, or if indeed another stallion took over that harem, they'd also accept him. Would they be faithful to him for life? More because he's part of their herd, as opposed to the fact that he is their partner. I think, Karen, the whole mating for life thing, the first thing that springs to mind for me is often birds. I think couple of the smaller antelope might as well. But if you say monogamy, mate for life, the first thing that comes to my mind is specifically birds of prey. Ah, Dr. Stripes. That's a good one, actually. You're saying for you it's the wild dogs because of the brutal way in which they kill their prey. Wild dogs. That is pretty descriptive. There's been a push. Not really a push. I normally call them. What if you said what are they? I'd probably still call them wild dogs, African wild dogs, also known as Cape hunting dogs or painted wolves. Wild dogs doesn't make them sound particularly endearing. I don't know who it was that started initiating new names, or not new names, alternative names. But yeah, I hear you, Dr. Stripes. Let's go across to Aldonio. I'm fairly sure we might have something there, Aldonio. I'm going to bank on elephants or possibly giraffes. Wow, okay, that's a lot of giraffes. So these giraffes we're seeing up here are the Maasai giraffes. And they're specifically found up towards these areas. There's lots of, I still can't get my head around exactly how many species stroke subspecies stroke geographical variations of giraffe there are, but there are different species of giraffe. These are not the giraffes you will see down in the Lowveld area. And also these zebra we're looking at, they are still plain zebra, but I believe they're a subspecies and they don't carry those shadow stripes. Whereas you will see those shadow stripes on zebra in other areas. Oh, it's Mr. One Tusk. That looked like the camera froze then. Everyone went really still. Oh. Giraffes always look very sedate to me. Sedate. Giraffes always look very sedate to me. Sedate, considerate. I'm actually gonna take this opportunity to check current. I'm actually gonna take this opportunity to check current information on giraffe species. There was at 1.9 a couple of subgroups. Oh, we're currently at 4, it would seem. Okay. There was, before 2016, they were classified as subspecies, but currently there are 4 formally recognised species of giraffe, which are the Maasai giraffe, Kenya and Tanzania, the reticulated giraffe, found in northern Kenya, southern Ethiopia and Somalia, the northern giraffe, including subspecies like the Godorphin and Numbian giraffes, which are found in Central and East Africa, and the southern giraffe, which are found across southern Africa. Okay. Now, that is how many species there are. There's also a subspecies of a Maasai giraffe, only found in the Luangwa Valley. Subspecies of the northern giraffe are the Godorphin, Numbian and West African. And subspecies of the southern giraffe are the Angolan and the South African giraffe. Okay, clear as mud. Excellent. But these are definitely Maasai giraffe. And there's lots of them. Lana, you're asking where the elephants, where is the elephant's other tusk? I don't know, Lina. It could be that it never developed. It could be that it's broken off. It's difficult to know, for me anyway, whether or not this was an injury or a genetic defect. The study I was reading this morning actually there was mention of elephants with one tusk, which suggests to me if they were being studied by scientists, it would be a genetic thing, because I'm not sure how scientists would know without sort of having studied them for many, many years even, or knowing their parents. I'm not sure how they would know. But short answer, Lana, I'm not sure. But it's either never grown due to genetics or a birth defect, or it's been broken off.
My name is Amy, and today we're going to be doing things a little bit differently.
Do you want to know why impala are the most common antelope we find here in the Kruger National Park? You can ask me questions like this in real time. Our safaris are live and interactive here in the heart of Africa. Join me on Safari Live. Connect with nature.
Chidzana na tsima ra ntumbuluko Lovukazi ya xitsundzuxo hosi ya rhumela.
How cool is this?
Ludwig Sinolo, you are asking, how many litres do giraffe drink? How many litres of water do giraffe drink? Again, Ludwig, it depends. It depends on the size of the animal, it depends on how much moisture they've been getting in their diet. But maybe, I don't know, 5 or 8 litres a session. I'm just wondering, I'm trying to imagine how much they'd be drinking when they drop their heads like this. Nowhere near as much as an elephant. That was very funny. I enjoyed that a lot. People say they don't know what. Well, that's such clear body language to me. Those giraffes just walked to the edge of that puddle. It almost felt like they went, should we go and try and get a drink then? And they walked over and stood on that elephant splash. They went, it's not worth it. And just turned around and walked away again. I thought that is very clear to see. And giraffe are, I would guess, Ludwig, 5 or 6 litres at a time, somewhere around there. And it would depend on their region and water availability and their diet as to how often they drink. Johnny Fever. I'm seeing lots of new names today. This is brilliant. Thank you all so much for getting involved. This is awesome. Johnny Fever, you're asking, are elephants more equitable with the water than giraffe or zebra? I'm assuming if you mean, are they happy to share? No, not really. It depends. They're the kings. They do what they want, elephants. They will do what they want, when they want, how they want, with what they want, to be honest. And I've seen more elephants less happy to share water than any other animal, I think. So if that's what you meant, then no, they probably, at the moment, we don't often see too many hard chases, but I've seen elephants chase ducks, jackals, lions, hadakers. I've seen elephants chase all sorts of animals away from water. That's probably we spend a lot of time here at this Aldonio camera, and I think I feel like we don't often see elephants splashing the way we do at lots of the other pans. That elephant just had a fairly good body splash there, which is unusual for me to see here. So there's some starlings down there by the water. Maybe it's those superb starlings. Beautiful russets on the chest. Yes, I think it's those superb starlings. Let me check. See, maybe that's a bird with a brilliant name, a superb starling. Superb 606. Yeah, I think it's those superb starlings. I can even see that little band of white sort of between that iridescent head and that russet body. That's a lovely image actually of those starlings. Superb starlings. I think they're probably up there with klipspringers. Look at them having a bath. Lots of time keeping those feathers. All birds take bathing and grooming very seriously. Helga. Is that an elephant coming back that's chasing them away? Oh no, it's a giraffe. I can just see a giraffe leg there on the edge. See, and then those elephants just sort of wander off, don't they? Oh, is that an eland? We've got some eland coming in as well. Lovely. Helga, you're asking where in Africa are there okapis? Okapis live in DRC. So, Democratic Republic of Congo, I believe. They're rainforesty jungle animals. I don't think there's many of them. My gut is telling me they're at least classified as endangered. I'm not sure how many of them there are. I'm not even sure how good records would be, because they do live in insanely inaccessible jungly rainforesty type areas. If you've never seen an okapi, I've never seen an okapi. I once requested to go and look for okapis, and it was suggested that there may be easier trips to do. If you've never seen an okapi, have a look. They are the most. I've seen one in a zoo, but I'm not sure I count those. But they're sort of short, unusual forest giraffe type looking animals. I'd love to see wild okapis though, but yeah, it's not going to be an easy mission to do it, I don't think. Lovely eland coming down for a drink. Another animal I don't see super frequently. Sometimes in the northern parts of Kruger. These are there's a couple of different subspecies of eland as well, I think. These are the common eland we see here. Common eland and the giant eland. Those giant eland. Come Africa. Or Lord Derby's eland. Ooh, 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 ooh. The amazing markings in this gathered group of animals having a drink. Amazing, like those stripes on the back of the knees of the eland. Beautiful light.
Now this leopard that we're looking at is known by the name of Hlalamba.
Even a hyena coming into the action as well now. Oh my word! She's stalking the hyena now. Leopard, hyena, lion, all together in one shot. Oh. This is action-packed.
Would you like to know at what age a buffalo calf gets its horns? These are questions that you can ask me in real time. Our safaris are live and interactive here in the heart of Africa. Join me on Safari Live and connect with nature.
Are you ready for the adventure of a lifetime? Wild Earth Travel's newsletter is your passport to a magical journey. Explore exclusive travel options featuring special offers at stunning Wild Earth locations and all hosted by your favorite presenters. Don't miss out. Head over to our website and subscribe to the Wild Earth Travel newsletter today and stay in the know on all our unforgettable adventures. Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
The solution is, otherwise it would have been implemented. I guess sustainable use of things, all the other conservation initiatives that combined will indeed make a huge impact on the environment. Use less plastics, recycle, think about your carbon footprint, think about how much power you use. All of these things can all influence loss of habitat on a global scale, I think. Nicholas Riley, you're just checking to see if we are live. Yes, we are live, Nicholas Riley, for another 4 minutes. We are very much live. Johnny Fever, brilliant name. Nicholas Riley, yes, we're live. Hi, Nicholas Riley. Let's go across to Serendella. Our giraffes and elephants have departed for the first time in a while. We'll just finish up seeing who we've got across there at Serendella. Johnny Fever, brilliant name, I love that. You've got good questions, Johnny Fever. If a grown male elephant met a herd that his mother was part of, would they interact or would they ignore each other? I'm going to say they'd interact, but based on the fact that it was a male elephant and a female elephant, as opposed to he ran to greet his mum, I think. Would they this study I was reading, it was also discussing it's believed, well no, it's been proven elephants have names for each other, and one of the only species that's been recorded to use different calls to communicate with different family members, which was a new thing for me. So would he interact? I think he'd interact. Whether or not he would interact as a human would pick their mum out in a crowd and run over to them and do that, I'm not entirely sure. I would say they'd probably recognise one another though. Dark Main Lover, it's a pleasure. You're saying thank you to FC for a fabulous show, lots of great sightings. Thanks to Africam and the Zoomies as well. Have a terrific day. You too, Dark Main Lover. Yes, big thanks to the Zoomies. I am not operating these cameras. They do a oh dear. They do a wonderful job capturing all these amazing sightings for us. So huge thanks to FC for making the show happen, and for all the Zoomies for doing such great work with these multiple cameras on a regular basis. Mother. Right, I'm going to go away and find out if it's proven that lion poo does indeed deter domestic pets. I'm sure there must be a science study on it somewhere. But have a lovely rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining us for the last couple of hours, and I will see you again soon. Take care. Bye bye.
Welcome to Safari Spotlight. Today we will be going on an adventure through some of South Africa's most beautiful wildlife havens. Our locations are unique, they are diverse, and they are at the forefront of ecotourism and conservation. The landscapes are spectacular, the wildlife is incredible, and we will be looking at all the interesting flora and fauna and generally bathing ourselves in Africa's beauty.